In his speech to Congress on Tuesday, Donald Trump set an ambitious goal: balance the federal budget. But as a Fox News anchor Maria Bartiromo tried to explain to him in an interview this morning, he can't do that without going after entitlements.
When you look at where the spending is, 76% of the spending going to the mandatory programs, don't you have to really cut into those mandatory programs in order to really make a dent? You say you're going to balance the budget.
Yeah,
you can't balance the budget just by DOGE cuts,
We're
right?
going to have growth like you've never seen before.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you said that.
We're going to have growth. I'm not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. No, we're going to get fraud out of there.
Put a pin in that one, folks. Yeah, okay. Because the Congressional Budget Office ran the numbers, and they found that to balance the budget, Republicans will have to cut from Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid. That safety net, those benefits. And Americans don't want that, especially when it comes to Social Security, the single largest program in the federal budget. A poll from January found that more than 2/3 of all Americans think we're not spending enough on Social Security, and only 6% think we're spending too much. Here's the deal. There's a reason it's the third rail of American politics, but that's not stopping Republicans from wrapping their hands around it. Elon Musk has been repeating the line that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And in his speech on Tuesday, Donald Trump actually lied about millions of dead people receiving benefits. Even the guy Trump installed to lead the Social Security Administration has said that that's not true. But it doesn't seem like he has much control over what's going on. The Washington Post reported this week that privately, senior staff has been told that DOGE is running the show and that they will make mistakes. Reports are already emerging about long wait times and delays in reviewing disability claims. And soon all of this meddling could mean that people don't get their checks on time. I mean, folks, take a moment. Do you really trust Elon Musk to get you your checks on time? Well, the most recent commissioner of the Social Security Administration definitely does not. Martin O'Malley told CNBC, ultimately, you're going to see this system collapse and an interruption of benefits. I believe you will see that within the next 30 to 90 days. And he added that people should start saving now. Joining me now is Martin O'Malley. He served as the commissioner of the Social Security Administration under President Biden. Before that, he was governor of the great state of Maryland. It's great to have you at the table, Governor. It's good to see you, man. So if Social Security misses payments, it would be the first time in 90 years of its existence that will have ever happened. What exactly are you seeing that DOGE is doing that makes you so worried?
Wow. Do I call you Lieutenant Governor, Chairman, Excellency?
Friend words.
There are several things they're doing, Michael. It appears they're doing everything they can to break this agency, to degrade customer service, and these acts are also, and to drive employees out of this agency. Keep in mind, the Republican House was reducing staffing and cutting Social Security before the DOGE bros even had driver's licenses. So this agency was serving more and more people every single day because of us baby boomers with staffing that was reduced to a 50-year low. So the biggest threat to the agency is the way they're driving experienced, knowledgeable employees out of it, including those who are about 30 to 40% retirement eligible that run the IT systems. So what we're going to see is more and more intermittent shutdowns of the processing apps, and also, yesterday for a time, the portal that allows people to check their MySSA account went down. You're going to see more of that for longer durations. You're already seeing the wait times, the lines, all going again in the wrong direction after they were made to go in the right and more timely direction by the end of last year. They're all going in the wrong direction. And then you're going to see all of those things having a cascading effect, because just because that base of the IT IT system, that old COBOL system is old, doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be maintained. And the people that know how to maintain it, get this, are being paid for an entire year if they will leave now and not let the door hit their backside on the way out. That's the waste.
I see that, as sort of the linchpin to a lot of this. It is not about the functionality of the system. It is about a clearing of the decks. We want these people out. If this system collapses, certainly that's going to be a devastating thing. How then do you get things up and running again? I mean, at some point, when your cousin, your aunt, your mom, your dad, yourself don't get that check that you need to cover your expenses, whether it's health care, whether it's other things you may use your Social Security payments for, what do people do? And how do you get the system back online?
40% of seniors living alone over the age of 65, Michael, depend entirely on Social Security. Yeah. It's the difference between living under a bridge, living in poverty, or living with dignity. I suspect just like after they fired the people that knew the nuclear codes, they're going to realize that they fired some really talented, experienced IT people that understand how to get these systems back up and running again, especially if, as I believe they are, if they drive this to a system collapse and an interruption of benefits within the next 90 days. Whether those people are willing to come back, how quickly they come back, or how long those benefit interruptions last is anybody's guess. Because just because these are some of the only folks in the country that understand the architecture of that system, and of course what I learned was it's not just about knowing how to write COBOL code, it's understanding the architecture and all of the apps and customer service IT systems that sit on top of it. So these are talented people. They not only know COBOL and the architecture of Social Security and how to make sure everybody keeps getting their check on time, they also have options in the private sector to go to other places. So they're creating a mess. It's a mess of their own making. Our fellow Marylander, Barbara Mikulski, texted me and said they're trying to break it so they can privatize it. Yeah. I think they're trying to break it so they can loot it. They want what's in that Social Security trust fund for some reason. And they now have these kids in T-shirts mucking around up there, going through people's personal data, plugging into systems that they can't even read and understand themselves, which is why they concluded that there was some zombie apocalypse with tens of millions of people walking around with checks spewing out of their cadaverous pockets. It's a real mess up there. And the guy running it only ran an office of about 5 people before, but he's doing whatever they ask of him.
Yeah, there we are. And that's it. It's the zombie apocalypse within our Social Security Administration.